Nerd Podcast. I am your host, Denny Dumont, producer Carl. What's going on, buddy?
How's it going, Denny?
I am doing well. A very exciting night for me tonight. A guy that I admire and respect a lot in our industry. He's younger than me, so it pisses me off a little bit, but doing really, really well, and it's awesome to see because I like a lot of things about this guy. Walker Adair, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Denny. I'm super excited to be on here. And again, yes, I am younger than you, but I admire you as well. We look up to you in New West as a realtor.
Well, we can talk about how much we love each other.
All right, we can do a big bro hug.
Walker, very particular guy, which I respect and like. Most guests that come on my podcast, I bring a bottle of whiskey and we just kind of shoot the shit and enjoy some whiskey. Walker doesn't like whiskey though, so we're mixing it up tonight. We're going with a couple vodka sodas, but I'm
Less
okay with the mix up. I'm happy if you're happy, buddy.
Yeah, they're less calories. Easier on the keto diet that I don't do.
Sure, let's go with that. We're not going to worry about our livers, but we'll worry about the calories. First thing so for whatever reason, I like to ask people to describe themselves in 3 words. 3 words or 3 small phrases. And I just kind of like how people see themselves, and it gives me a little bit of insight into who they are. So I ask everyone to start by describing themselves in 3 words or 3 small phrases.
The queen of real estate. That's all.
I'm going to accept that. Even though that's more than 3 words, I'm going to accept that. You said
small phrases. The queen of real estate. That's me.
Describe that. Why?
So Nicki Minaj,
yeah,
who is my one of my favorite rappers, she's the queen of rap.
Okay.
So, and she's a fucking boss.
She crushes it. Yeah.
For a young lady, well, she's not that young anymore, but she crushes it. Like, she kills it. She kills the game, and that's what I do. I got into this industry, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill the real estate industry, change it, shake it up. I don't look like a realtor, but I crush it.
Do I?
No, that's why it's fucking awesome. That's why I love it, right? That's why I'm the queen of real estate. Everyone's like, oh, that's because you're gay. No, it's because I crush it.
How long have you had a license? When did you get into real estate?
3 years ago when I was 21.
What, you say you wanted to change the game. What, give me like an insight into that. What are you thinking in your head of how you're changing the game?
Well, I mean, the real estate industry is like I want to say the worst, but one of the worst kind of public perceptions.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks where, that suit and tie asshole comes up to your door and, tries to snake you, right? And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. I'm real. I wanted to make it the public perception of us. Just be like, we're regular people and we love what we do and we're making a bit of a difference in the communities.
For sure. I always describe it as the used car salesman type.
Yeah.
And I consciously try to avoid ever having a characteristic that would put me in that category.
Yeah.
So like, I am not an aggressive salesman. I love talking to people, and I feel like I'm really good when an offer's on the table and negotiating deals.
Yeah.
But in terms of like aggressively trying to sell myself, that's not me. I'm like, I am who I am. If you like me, great. I'd love to work with you. Yeah. If you don't like me, see you later. I'm on to the next kind of thing.
Exactly. And I love that because when I first started, I was like, the struggle for money was there. It was real. Yeah. I'm 21. I had nothing. And I was aggressively selling myself, working with these people I hated. And I'm like, I can't do it. I remember the first time I fired a client. I'm like, yes, bye, bitch. Yeah. I was done. It was the best thing. And now if I meet someone at the door, they like me, I'll list their house. If there's any ounce of no matter what, even if I have the listing, if there's any ounce of I feel the animosity, they don't like me, I can walk away from it and I'm happy to do so and refer it out to someone else because
the relationship is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I describe it as being very short-term thinking that if they lose a deal, they're losing one paycheck. But to me, it's the reputation. If you can't get along with someone, regardless of how good you think you are at your job, if you can't get along with someone, there's going to be some sort of negative impact on that relationship. And if they're the type of person to write a Google review or whatever, that negative Google review is going to affect you so much more long-term than losing one paycheck. So I always think about it as like short-term, long-term.
Yeah.
I want to set myself up for success long-term. And if that means sacrificing in the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I'm completely okay doing that.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's a good way to think. And I mean, it's also a tough mentality to get into.
Totally is.
Especially when this industry is all based on, well, not all, but, probably 80% based on what you're doing today.
Yep.
And you don't, like, if I did a deal tomorrow, like if I sold, 8 tonight, and we ain't going to see a check for a little while, right? So, I mean, it's all about building that relationship, like you said, and getting it done right and making them love you and loving them.
Little background story on that. I've got a listing in New Est right now that Walker has the perfect client for. Perfect. And he just hasn't come to the table. So I'd say like 2 or 3 times a week I'm messaging Walker saying, when's your guy coming? Where's the offer, man?
And 5 or 6 times a week I'm messaging my client, literally in my car waiting outside this office. Called him up. I'm like, hey, I'm going in to see Denny. Can I get an offer to bring him on the table for this? And he's like, no, not right now. He's like, we got to work on this other one. Okay, fine.
I feel like we're going to make it happen. We just got to be patient.
I'm waiting to sell one of your listings. Whoops. You had like Dublin. No, just last minute.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
We're going to sell one of mine.
I'll get there too. You're more downtown stuff. We're downtown.
No, I'm not. I don't even do downtown. That's like a misconception. I just live there. I do Valley.
Good misconception.
Everyone thinks I'm the downtown agent.
Well, I don't like crossing the river, so.
I don't like crossing the Coquihalla. Everything else is fair game.
If you live in British Columbia, Walker will sell your home.
I'm going to Vernon next week. Well,
are you serious?
Well, I'm not going there. My client is. He just messaged me. I want to buy this. I'm like, I'll refer you. He's like, no, you're writing it. Fine. He's my marketer, so you have to do what he says.
Sweet. Whatever. I want to, so I know you moved so you grew up in Dawson Creek?
Dawson Creek. Well, Tumbler Ridge was where I grew up. And that's like a town of, I don't know, no one, 2,000 people.
I've heard of Dawson Creek, never heard of Tumbler Ridge.
Because you heard of the TV show, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Every time I'm from Dawson Creek. Oh, no. Not the TV show.
What caused the move? And in the same story, why did you choose real estate when you got to Vancouver?
So what caused the move? I mean, I'm gay, and Dawson Creek is not a gay-friendly place. So I originally moved to Calgary for university. Mm-hmm. For 2 years. I was in petroleum engineering. I hated it.
That sounds boring as shit.
It was horrible. I was pressured by my family. They're like, you can make a lot of money in oil. And I'm like, yeah, I could. I could also make a lot of money in real estate. They're like, but that's a gay industry. And I was like, what? And I wasn't out yet. So I was like, oh, fuck. And I was going to move down to Vancouver and or somewhere and do real estate at 19. But they're like, that's gay. And I'm like, fuck, shit. They know. And I was like, hey, I got to go into oil. So I moved to Calgary. And then I'm like, oh, I'm done. So I moved back up north to make some money. 2015, I moved down to Vancouver. And I started my real estate license. But it takes forever of just this boring course that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Doesn't really help you in the real world of real estate.
I have a podcast by myself talking about the first year in real estate and talking about how easy it is to get a license. Like for me, it was 2.5 months. It was read that book, do 20 assignments, write the exam. Here you go. Here's a real estate license. But it does absolutely nothing for you. It doesn't prepare you at all for what the real world is like.
No, I never used it. I kept my book and I just burnt it. Because I don't want to know how to do mortgage. I don't even know how it's done. Mortgage brokers do that. But back to the point, when I moved down here, I was in university. I ran out of money and I was wanting to do real estate. I loved it. Like I said, I've always wanted to make that change and in the industry. And I had the opportunity to do it. And my mom bought me the real estate course for Christmas. And
that's awesome.
I was like, shit, got it done. And I'm like, what the hell do I do now? And yeah.
Okay, we're going to get into the first year, but to be good at real estate, to be good in this industry, I think you have to be passionate about some aspect of it, whether it is architecture, whether it is the client interaction negotiation, whatever it is. Is there one specific thing that you are super passionate about that wakes you up every day?
Oh, man.
It doesn't need to be one thing. It could be
There's so many different things. There's like a plethora of all this mess of things I can't even describe. I mean, I don't even know. My big passion is I love architecture and in designing and kind of not flipping homes. I don't like that. just ultra modern interior design and exterior design, like small spaces. Like I was looking at homes last night. It was like 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep, and I'm like on the internet, literally looking at cool houses in Vancouver on mini lots with my friends sitting beside me. We're drunk, drinking vodka, and like we're literally just looking for these like cool modern homes. And I'm like, oh my god, that one's by my office. I'm like, it's for sale. So I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this house, right? So it's like that's probably the biggest thing is that, and then development. So I want to eventually become a developer and get into building and do my own stuff. So
what kind of stuff do you want to develop?
More multifamily, so condo sites, and work closely with architects and low rise and high rise. That's my eventual plan.
I love Vancouver. I love the city. I love being close to the ocean and the mountains. I love a lot about it. The one thing I hate on Vancouver about is boring as shit architecture.
Exactly.
It's starting to get better. Oak Ridge looks super cool.
No, Oak Ridge is garbage compared to what we have.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like coming up,
totally.
Like I literally like. This is like I'm passionate about this shit.
Yeah.
Like this is what gets me like yelling. You got to turn the volume down. It's like Vancouver House, beside the Granville Street Bridge.
Yeah.
Bjorn, yeah, beautiful. Then in Calgary they have the opposite. It's called Telesky.
Okay.
Which is Vancouver House goes from like a triangle to a square.
Yeah.
Telesky goes from a square up to the triangle. It's just like Vancouver House flipped upside down.
Yeah.
You've got Montreal or Pixel in Toronto. The Pixel one, I don't know what it's called, on Yonge and Bloor, built by designed by Bjorn again, and it's just really cool, very similar, kind of like the Zipper. So that's like, but we're getting better in Vancouver.
I went to New York to Manhattan last October for the first time. And just walking around that city, I'm just in awe of how many cool design buildings there are. And I come back to Vancouver and it's just like these blocks, but we're starting to see it. And it's exciting for me as a residential realtor to see Vancouver House, to see the Butterfly coming up, to see Oak Ridge and that cool design. Yeah. A lot of it's West Group.
And West Bank.
West Bank or West Group? That was West Group.
Well, there's two. There's two. Yeah. So West Bank's doing a couple. So they're doing, but there's can't go. We're getting cool shit now. Finally. Yaletown is like the coldest, saddest, deadest shit I've ever seen. All this, I don't even know when. Don't get me started. But
I'm in this exact same boat, man. I'm super excited about
world class architects.
Yeah.
But it's $3,500 a square foot.
Yeah.
It's a little bit expensive.
I talk about Vancouver as being an undervalued city, though, overall. Comparing to other major coastal cities in North America, of course, we're not on the same level as New York and LA, but I feel like one day we can be close.
Yeah, I think
comparing housing values to those places with the Canadian dollar being 35% below, I feel like we're still undervalued long term.
Yeah, I would agree, but it's hard to really, because there's even Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong is twice the price of Vancouver.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't want to live in Hong Kong, the smog, and there's no. I've been into Hong Kong, and their architecture is pretty boring. You have some cool stuff, but it's not very happy. It's pretty bricky and generic. I've never been to New York, but I'm going to Montreal next week, and I don't think there's much cool architecture there. It's just old.
But it's cool in the fact that it's old and like refurbished.
Yeah.
300-400-year-old buildings, which is cool. But yeah, it is very different than in like a modern city like LA or New York.
Yeah, and Vancouver's a new city too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the oldest building I've ever seen is one of the heritage houses in New West, probably.
Like 125 years old.
120 years old. That's it. That's the oldest you get here. There I'm staying in Montreal in this loft built in like 1862. Like before even Canada was a country. Like what?
That's so cool. Yeah. We could talk about architecture all day. Let's move on. First year in real estate. I want to hear the ups, the downs, everything. Because I know mine was a fucking whirlwind, man.
It was my best year.
Grind. It was your best year.
It was my best year.
How did you start off so strong?
I was so fucking motivated.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go bankrupt. My mom was going to lose the house. Like, I had to step up or get the F out of the kitchen, right? So I had no choice. I had $1,000 in my bank account the minute I started real estate and no clients. But I had this one lady, my sister's.
$1,000?
That's it. I paid rent and had $1,000. It was August 8th when I got my license. And I had been working, my sister's best friend's mom. She was like saying, I want to move to Vancouver. I met her like a year before and I'm like, I'm getting into real estate down in Vancouver. Do you know anyone moving? She's like, me. So I'm like, okay. So she sold her house in Dawson. I convinced her for 5 months to fucking rent a cabin in South Surrey. Because I'm like, please, 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 like I'm begging you to rent this place because I need a deal. I don't have anything. And like, please, like I'm like begged her. And she was like, hey, fine, I'll rent. She's in this like shitty cabin. I don't even know where it was. And she literally rented it. And she's like, when can I buy a place? When can I buy a place? And I'm like, I don't know when my license is coming. Like it's taking forever. I had no guidance, a little bit of guidance from a mentor, but like I was freaking out. And she waited. She literally sat there in that cabin for 3 or 4 months, kind of hopping from cabin to cabin as they were booked. And I remember the day I got my license and I was like, I got it. And she's like, well, can you show me listings? And I didn't have my V number. It took a week for my V number and she got rid of her cabin. So she ended up staying in a hotel for a few days while I got my V number. And then first listing she saw, she bought it, completed in 2.5 weeks. I got my first check. And then I was like, awesome.
I got your first check 3 weeks into having a license.
4 weeks. I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, something like that.
It's a lot faster than me.
But I mean, I literally had to beg her for it. And like, she's like now my best friend. I mean, she always was a good friend, but now we're like besties. And then that was the beginning. And then I'm like, awesome. Now what I did was door knock. Because as a kid, I used to door knock shoveling driveways. So I knew I could door knock. So I door knocked every single day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month, 365, well, not 365, pretty close. But for probably 10 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day, I was doing like 400 homes a day, 300 houses a day in South Surrey, trying to find another deal. And I wasn't saying the right things. So I ended up going on Craigslist and like looking for real estate jobs. Maybe I can find a quick deal on Craigslist. And I found someone, business partner, who was like, hey, I have some leads. I want you to help work them. I'm like, okay. So he gave me a couple leads. I was doing all these showings out in Maple Ridge. I was living in downtown at the time, I think. Yeah. And I just moved to Poco because I was doing more business out there. And Poco had no sign bylaws, which we'll get to in a bit. It's a big part of my story. And so this guy, unnamed person that I was working for at the time, just gave me these leads. I was showing them. Nothing really panned out. And then I said, hey, he's like, what are you good at? I'm like, I door knock. Like, let's go door knocking around an old listing I have. So we went out, started door knocking around it. This dude's like, hey, I want to sell. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, and we went in and we met with them and just sitting there. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why don't we sign it? Like, let's get it on the market. And he's like, okay. So I went to my car. I had no idea that this is not normal. So I went to my car, grabbed the contract. We signed it. And like the guy, I'm like, who's been in real estate like 12 years, is like, what the fuck? Like, whoa, okay. And we get the listing. It was my first listing. They said no open houses, only showing between 1 and 2 on Sunday, no sign. And I'm like, easy peasy, fuck. Like I can get this shit done any day. And he's like, oh my God, this sucks. And I'm like, it's my first listing. I don't care. It's $1 million. And that one, from there, we ended up selling it like 50 days later, almost full price. This was 2015, so market hadn't taken off yet. Yeah. And from there, I was like just so confident. And I'm like, I got this shit. Like I've now made, this was actually November. So it took me 3 months to get another deal. So I did the first one in August, and then September, October, November. And they ended up buying a nice house in Abbey. And then from there, it just fucking exploded. I was door knocking like 8 hours a day. My partner, we ended up partnering up. He was cold calling everyone, doing FSBOs. Mm-hmm. And in 9 months, we did about 44-ish transactions, 46 transactions. GCI, like, I don't even know, 550 or 600,000. And like, I was so burnt out by November of the next year. I've been in real estate just now 1 year. And the business partnership went boom and mess. Yeah. But it was good. I mean,
we're gonna explore that. we're not going to explore the
A little
partnership, but we're going to explore the mindset behind like what happened and how you got through it. But
I barely did.
what, why did you door knock so much? Like
I had to. I didn't.
You know, no one does that.
I do.
And that's why I'm impressed. That's why I respect the hell out of you, because you fucking prospect like a machine.
Usually, I did, and that was when that's why my first year was my best year.
How did you know to do that, or
As a
why
kid,
did you pick that?
What I did is like I shoveled driveways. I was like my first business. I was 12 or 13, and it was shoveling snow up north, fucking cold as shit, and it snows all the time. So I go around and I door knock, and I'd be like, hey, do you need your driveway shoveled?
Yeah.
And like I'll do it every time it snows. You just leave a 30 or 20, 30 bucks in the mailbox. I'll pick it up, shovel your driveway, and go. And I got all these clients, and I was like, mate, rolling in the dough as like a 13-year-old, like fucking $200 a month, $300 a month coming in. I'm the one with always had money. And I used to give it to my mom because she was always, struggling, and she could never make rent or our mortgage payment or pay for groceries. So I'd always be giving her money. And I was like, my dad died when I was really, really, really young. So my big why was like, help my mom, help my sister, help the family out. So ever since I was young, it was that mindset. And door knocking was always there since I was 12, 13, 14, 15. A little hustle, right? It was always a hustle. Like, if this person like says yes, there's $50. Like that takes me 5 hours at a job to do that. I can knock on a door, make $50 in 30 minutes. Like that was the mindset. It was just awesome. I loved it.
So you just kind of grew up knowing that was a way, or you'd seen success in it before.
I seen success in it before on the small scale.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's amp this up and make it on the big scale where, a door knock is not just $50. It could be $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. I've had $100,000, $170,000 door knocks now.
Early on, how did you get over because there's a shit ton of rejection when you're door knocking and cold calling.
Never bothered me.
But explore that a little bit.
I love it. It's fun.
What do you love about it?
It's fucking awesome. I love it when someone like, it like energizes me when someone's like, get the fuck off. Like, fuck you, you piece of shit. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, I'll catch you on another good day. And they're like, fuck you. And I'm like, oh, and it just energizes me. And I'm like, I love it. Like there's the no gone, right? Let's get to another yes. Find it. There's a yes everywhere. Like I was door knocking today and I got 2 or 3 yeses. Like for like the next little while. Like yesterday I got 2 yeses. One, trying to find a realtor now. The other one was like, I'm selling in January. I don't have a realtor. Like I just look for the yeses. The rejection means nothing to me. Like my entire life I've been rejected as a gay man. Like that's what it is. I've lived with the rejection, right? My whole family disowned me when I came out. I've lived with that. So I've learned not to take it to heart. I've learned to just kind of brush it aside and laugh about it and find the yes, because that's what matters. The no's don't matter at all.
My next question was explore where that came from, but you think it came from that?
100%.
So do you turn that around and be like, that's my competitive advantage? Is that what you're thinking in your head?
I mean, my competitive advantage is me and all of that, right? No one's going to get, But living through
the rejection or whatever it may be, your family not supporting your decision or whatever, or your lifestyle, but is that something that you think has kind of molded you into this who you are?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's 100%. I mean, the biggest thing
I fucking love that
was my dad dying and me having to take over the role. I was 6. I found him dead. We can go deep here, but we're not. I mean, like that allowed me, I took on a role. I didn't really have a childhood. It was how to help get us out of this situation and put us into a better one. My ultimate goal is buy my mom a house. Like everything is it's not revolving around me per se, because I know when I get there, like when my family gets there, whoever my goals are for, I'll be 10 times above that level. So I've always pushed it to allow helping my family out, and I'll just get there because I can't help them out if I'm not there or 5 times above that level. So it's
So you think you were just so accustomed to the rejection as a kid that it doesn't affect you at all anymore?
I mean, it affects me, but it doesn't affect me at the door. It affects me, like, say if I'm going into a listing, but just the prospecting, it doesn't get me at all. it's when it does get me, it does. And it's like when it's like a deal's happening, you know, I stress like crazy about the deals. And like when it gets rejected, it's like, ugh, that gets me down. I'm like, fuck. But the first part of it never bothers me at all. But rejection still gets to me. I'm not perfect.
Not that my story is similar at all, but like it has a lot of correlation in that I feel like as a kid, I lost at everything. So I had some big ambition as a kid, and most of it was to do with sport. And I never got to the level that I wanted to. I never won the games that I wanted to. And so I felt like I was just accustomed to losing, and I understood what it felt like. And I looked back and saw that I can get through those losses. And so now moving forward, it's been the best. Like I wouldn't change anything about my past. I would never change any of those losses to wins because of who it's made me become. And I am so immune to losses now. I have this quote that I say all the time, Walker, that I say, I absolutely hate losing with a passion, but I love what it does to me.
I was going to make almost an exact same quote. That's hilarious.
It's insane. And so I say that all the time, and like it's on my website. Like it's really important to me is that like the loss fucking sucks, but I love what it makes me do afterwards. It just motivates the shit out of me. And it sounds like very similar story.
Super similar. Well, you wouldn't be in the same. I mean, you're way ahead of me. You saw way more homes than me, but like we have a very similar, we talk all the time, and I love it. We've got this shared mindset, and I don't find a lot of people with that like mindset, like the similar, like even my team, like I try to coach them on like a loss is a loss, but fucking learn from it.
Exactly.
It's perfect. If you don't lose, you ain't going to get anywhere. Fuck, like, it frustrates the hell out of me.
The other thing I say all the time is I don't like the alternative. So whenever something happens, so whenever there's a loss, exactly, right? Whenever there's a loss, you think, okay, I could dwell on this. It's going to make me a worse person if I get upset about it, or I could just pull out the positives and move forward. And so I like pull myself out of a situation and think about it and say, I don't like that option. Why would I ever choose that option? I'm obviously moving forward. It just seems so simple to me, but most people get so overwhelmed and drawn into a negative experience or a loss that it overtakes their life for days, weeks, months. And I just don't get it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is this only business? What about the personal losses? Like
100%.
What about, is it the same thing?
Exact same.
Because I struggle with that. I struggle with a bit of depression, and I struggle with, and I've had it, my business losses, they don't mean shit, but like I get these personal losses and those get taken to heart. Like, because I think it also might come down to a lot of the, like business, easy to shrug off. But like a lot of my past was like, personal rejection. Like I was bullied like crazy. Like no one liked me. Family ended up rejecting me. But like when I get these personal losses, those like I find I take to heart a bit more. And that's actually where my downfall came in year one, was business partner breakup in November. I don't even remember when it was. And we ended up splitting up and everything was gone. I was back to the square one. And I was at this point, I had saved a shitload of money and I had all these expenses and I didn't really know what I was doing because it was kind of piggybacking. But I knew I could lead generate the hell out of this. And then winter came. It was like my second winter in Vancouver. The first winter we got lucky. It was gray, depressing. And I just stopped lead generating. I stopped working. My boyfriend ended up like splitting up with me with his fucking ex-wife and going to Toronto and moving. And then my business partner disappeared and took everything. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm like alone now in Poco in a fucking dark basement suite. And I had to rent, I had to pay, and I had $85,000 in cash sitting in the bank with $18,000 in expenses in November, and then no deals in December, none in January, none in February, none in March. And I'm like, I looked at my bank account, I'm like, I got $3,000. I'm going to go bankrupt. And then like I got to get this. I cut my expenses. I hired a coach and brought it back. And it cycled again. It hit the next winter. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? I kept going into these depressions and like these horrible places in the winter. And I'm like, okay, no, this isn't healthy. Like I hustle all summer, then I crash all winter and I can't deal with this. And I ended up contemplating leaving real estate, moving to to somewhere different and just think like, and I got so down. It was like such a downer every year. I'm like, this is like a constant thing. I spend all my money in the winter, And even this year, like at the beginning of this year, I did the same thing, but I finally was like, hey, I need to get the help. I need to go and reach out and get it, like fix myself. Like I can't fucking deal with this. So I went to a psychiatrist, got all these like drugs and it didn't work. And I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to change my mindset when I'm in the winter. I'm not going to think about this. I'm going to get like these stupid sad light. You see my Instagram story with me like sitting in front of my bright ass light. Like it's in the morning therapy at like 6 a.m. and it's like lighting the entire apartment up. But like, I'm like, hey, I'm going to change this mindset here for this winter and see what it does. And my business has been picking up this winter, even with the market declining. And, you know, I brought my sister on. So it's like, it comes down to, I don't even know what the question was because I elaborate so much. But
no. Well, you asked me about personal failures.
Oh yeah. And then I just go crazy.
I'd like to address that if you want me to, but
yeah,
there's a lot of good shit in what you just said.
Address your personal,
okay, we can come back to this.
Yeah,
because that was good shit, and I think that's gonna be helpful for a lot of people in terms of like how. I think a lot of people have difficulty with seasonality, and in the winter when it's dark outside at 4:30 p.m.
What time is it right now?
It's depressing.
It's 6:14 and it's pitch black.
Yeah, the sun set an hour and a half ago. Yeah,
I'm gonna cry.
It's depressing, right? But I guess what I want to know is what thoughts are making you depressed. Is it cold weather? Is it lack of sunlight? Or is it more like business is slow? Because I don't know. I don't personally deal with that stuff. So I'm ultra curious about the mental side of it.
I mean, it comes down to a lack of motivation. I also have a really big issue with my testosterone. So my body quit producing it like 2 years ago, which I didn't know until 6 months ago. And that severely affects your mood, and it plays a huge role with your like seasonal affective disorder. And my doctors kept shrugging it off, and I'm like, there's something wrong here. So I think it comes more down to my motivation was lacking, and then it was also lacking in my depression issues with the seasonal affective disorder, and it was just kind of building on top of each other. And then I had all these personal issues, which I have big issues. Like I said, my personal issues like weigh me down. And it was just the weight was so heavy that it crushed me. And I was burnt out too, which was a big thing from real estate because I loved it, but I got to the point where I fucking hated it. Yeah. Because I was like, missing Christmas, I wasn't doing like my what is it? My mission statement, my family. I was forgetting about them, and I was like I wasn't being my true self. And it was like killing me inside. And I'm like, I'm done with this shit. I can make $250,000 in a year, but fuck, I hate it. And I made that mindset shift this year. And I'm like, hey, you know what? No, I'm not going to hate it. I'm going to change it. And, you know, I'm on, you know, my Concerta for my concentration, basic Ritalin when you're in fucking university. And it's helped me. And I do my sad lab. I see my psychiatrist. I talk to my family. I make sure they're my priority. I talk to my mom at least twice a day. My sister too much because she's my business partner now. So I'm making the real thing the priority, which is the family, not the money, not the business, not this. And I've shifted my entire mindset about that. And that's what's made me where I think I'm going to be able to get through this winter and easy.
I am so ultra one way in terms of believing that it's a conscious decision to change your mindset. It's a conscious thought.
For the most part.
I think there's real things in life, and depression is something that can affect different people different ways. But I also think a lot of it is a choice. Not all. I know it's a disease. I know it's a big thing. But like you said, you adjusted your mindset and you're feeling different this winter or this fall. Yeah. Was it just literally focusing on family instead of money? Was there something specific that switched?
It was more so, I think more that I had the answer, not the answers, but I knew why it was happening more. Like my testosterone issues, the seasonal affective disorder, and that someone was actually trying to help me and get through it instead of with just me. right? Because you can only do so much yourself, right? I don't know if you have a psychiatrist or if you have, like, I've got, like, I say a coach for every aspect of my life. My personal trainer, business coach, my mom, obviously coach. I've got my psychiatrist. I've got someone there to kind of keep control of every aspect of my life so I can control what I really want to do. My passion of real estate. It's huge. It's huge. It's huge. And I never had any of this shit. So I was dealing with it all myself. Like, I can call my coach and fucking puke on her and she'll be like, okay. And she'll piece it together. And then I go to I just saw my psychiatrist yesterday and I just like threw up on him and he's like, all right, can you come back in a week? Because you got a lot of shit right now. And he knows, like, he understands. It's nice to have people you can offload the mental garbage on. So
it's the release.
Yeah, it's a release. Yeah. If you don't release on someone else, you're going to release on yourself internally and implode.
Not that I don't think we're at the social media topic yet, but for me, I've felt unbelievable release in the last year through social media and now through this medium. The podcast is amazing because it's one-on-one with people that I want to talk about, the people that I respect, people that have a similar mindset, that I can say exactly what I think and they will respect it / understand it.
Yeah, it's nice.
And social media is the same way, is that no one's immediately judging you. You're posting a photo of your day or like a story saying like, I'm working my ass off today, door knocking 400 homes, like some crazy shit like you do.
I don't do that anymore. Just 50 a day, 50 a day.
But there's no immediate judgment.
Yeah, no, I know.
And that's where I get a huge release, is that I feel like I can be completely myself on social media and in this podcast format. So for me, that's the release. But I understand that other people have different ways. So for you, it may be talking to a business coach or, you know, whatever aspect of your life. So I find that's fascinating how people can find that release, because everyone does it a little bit differently, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's a different type of release. Like dealing with, I'm not depressed. I'm not a depressed person, but it's a seasonal thing. It's 100% seasonal. And I mean, it's a different type of offloading. Like my social media, like, it's where I don't know. This is the most random shit. Like, people always say you should have a fucking reality TV show with, like, I post the stupidest shit on my Facebook. Like I read my shit and I'm like, what am I posting? And it's like whatever comes on I just post it. My way of getting rid of the garbage. And I'm in this Facebook group, which I'm not gonna blast out. And it's this realtor Facebook group. There's like 22,000 realtors in it. And like they're like, you're fucking hilarious. And everything I put in there, and it's private for the most part. And everything goes in there and everyone's like, what the hell? Walker's crazy. And I'm like, no, this is how I vent. This is how I get rid of this crap that I don't want in my brain.
Totally.
So it helps. And podcasts too. Like,
I think everyone needs a release. They just need to figure out what works for them.
Yeah.
And for me, it's, for whatever reason, social media has like been an amazing platform for me.
I need to utilize it more.
Oh, it's so amazing. It's so powerful. It's crazy.
I know. I got my first lead from it, just randomly from my Instagram.
It's insane.
Cool.
Okay, we're going to get there.
Okay. Right.
You want to know about my personal life and how I deal with negatives in personal life?
Yeah.
Do you know my personal life story?
No, I only met you once.
I don't know. I feel like you follow me on social.
I follow you on social, but I mean, we got to go deep. Like, I went deep.
All right, this is going to be some good shit. Your mind's going to be blown. Where to begin, Carl? Fuck. Carl knows what it is. I was married.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Got married in 2015. Probably about
to
the same
a man
time
or a woman? Just kidding.
Woman.
I never know. I don't assume.
It was just a bad situation. And so dealing with a daily negative influence on my career, like, it was not a supportive environment. It was I want to work my ass off. I have some big goals, and it was more, you need to be more supportive in other ways in life. And I wasn't ready to give up the dream yet. It didn't work, obviously. So we've been apart for a while, but it was just being able to release myself from an extremely negative holdback in my life has just been absolutely life-changing. So it's been, I don't know, 9 months maybe. And it's been just like the craziest 9 months of my life. I feel more like myself than I ever have. I feel more positive than I ever have. I feel more motivated than I ever have. And feel like I need to do more shit. So part of the reason was like to start the podcast is to chat with people like you who think the same way, because that's how I learn. I don't really read. I like listening to podcasts. I like communicating with people that see the same world as I do. And in terms of like dealing with negative situations, that one obviously was pretty negative, and it affected my mood a lot when I was in it. But looking back, I think it as like the best thing that's ever happened to me, because of what the result came from, or what the result is now. And I look back at my childhood and say, if I hadn't been so competitive in sports, if I hadn't lost at everything, every sporting event that I've ever done, basically, maybe I wouldn't have been prepared for it. And so I use this line with my buddy, and it's weird to fucking think about as a human, to think in this mindset. But when I found out there was a big thing that happened with the ex, but we don't need to talk about that. When I found out about it, it like hit me pretty hard. I was humiliated.
Was it the best thing that ever happened to you?
Well, 100% now. Yeah. 100%.
Now,
I remember like literally the day after I found out about it, I was talking to my best buddy, and I was like, I'm built for this. For what, like, of my past, all the shit that I've gone through prepared me for this moment, and prepared me to not have to dwell on it, not have to be super upset about it, but be able to use it as motivation to move forward. And I don't know. It's just a weird way that my mind works.
I love it, because like I say, when I said the best thing that ever happened to you, what I say, and people think this is cryptic as fuck. My dad dying was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, or finding my dad dead was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And they're like, what? I'm like, I wouldn't be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I like that. I can feel like the parallels. It's cool.
There's two big events for me. So one was that, separating.
Mm-hmm.
Number two was my dad having financial struggles. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago. And just, it affected my family huge. Me, not so much, but other people in my family a lot more than I did, than I was affected. But it taught me a ridiculous lesson on how valuable being good with money is. And I think it probably happened when I was 23. So as a kid, you don't really understand the value of money, but when you see a parent go through something like that, it's like such a great learning experience.
I wish I learned more from that. But yeah, no, I know.
It was insane.
It's awesome. Oh,
yeah.
It's crazy. Oh my gosh.
And literally like 6 months later, I'm like, all right, I need to jump into self-employment and be a realtor. So maybe
it's funny that we jump into
much.
this. Why did you become a realtor though? Is that part of it?
I'd always had an interest in real estate. That definitely kicked my ass to do something. I was working for him. So my dad ran sports bars and liquor stores in Greater Vancouver. Just made a few poor decisions, and they went tits up.
I think you mentioned this.
Yeah. So I was working for him. When all that shit happened, I didn't really know what to do. I got a job at a bank. It's probably the worst 5 months of my life.
You worked for someone else?
Oh my God, it was a nightmare.
Feel ya.
Man, I was drinking heavily in those 5 months. Called in sick a bunch because I was hungover. Like it was, I just hated every day. So I thought about real estate a long time. I had bought my first condo with my business partner, Jamie, when I was 21, and just like stayed in contact with him, fire him emails all the time, ask him questions about real estate. Yeah. And then 2014, I just decided to take the plunge and took the course and got a license.
I love that. Were you business partners with them right away, or did you? I didn't know this. I didn't know like about you and James. Year
one, basically, I just said, "Hey, I'm getting a license. If you can help in any way, great. Can I take you
shadowing?
Can I take you over lunch and I'll ask you a shit ton of questions?" And he's like, "Actually, I'm very busy right now. I need some help. You want to just like team up, and there'll probably be some leads going your way, but like you can follow me around for a while and learn a shit ton." So I did that for a year. Worked out. We get along really well. We have a lot of similarities in our personalities, but we have a shit ton of differences.
I know.
And they meld pretty well, I think.
I don't know James personally, but I know like the social media presence. Like you get to know people from social media.
100% you do.
And they're like, yeah, no.
Yeah. So year one was obviously a big learning experience for me, following him around a lot. I ended up doing 17 deals, which is better than I thought I'd do. But year two was the turning point where I was confident in my ability to work with clients. And we went from like 30 million in sales in 2014 to, I want to say like 65 or something like that. So it was a big jump, and I did 76 deals.
Wow.
And I think he saw a lot of value in me at that point.
Well, yeah, 76 deals is not a small amount.
And the year later we cracked 100 deals. And then 2017 was a huge year where we did 120 million in sales.
What did you do to prospect?
I did anything and everything at the beginning.
Calling. What was your favorite?
What I had the most success with was expireds. But I did everything. 2 days a week, I'd cold call for a couple hours. I would door knock and letter drop basically any sale that we had. So part of why I was able to do well early was that Jamie was already doing a lot of business.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that anything he sold, I would do 300-400 letters around that sale, right?
Exactly.
And have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Where it's hard to go into a neighborhood you've never been into before and door knock and no one knows who you are. Whereas like it's a lot easier to say, oh, we just sold your neighbor's house a block away.
Yeah.
It sold for this in 12 days or whatever the information is. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to open a conversation that way. So that was comfortable for me. Cold calling wasn't. It was uncomfortable the whole time. It's not a fun thing to do. But letters and expireds were the biggest things for me early on.
That's cool. I hate cold calling.
I know. It's not fun.
My coach is like, do it. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like talking to people on the phone. I don't even like answering my phone. There's a client calling me. I'm like, I like to be in person. But no, it's cool. I didn't know that. That's the thing. Everybody's got their own thing. Like totally you do expireds. I don't do expireds. I don't touch FSBOs. I just door knock. It works for me. What works for you? What works for someone else? Like there's so much business in this industry to go around. Like do what you like and do it good and you'll do good.
Part of the reason for this platform for me is to share experience, but chat with people like you who have not completely different, but have different ideas of how to do business, because there's so much opportunity out there. Mm-hmm. It's not like if I give someone a piece of advice or information that has worked for me, it's not going to affect my business. No. It's potentially going to help someone else, which I love that opportunity.
And if anything, it'll create a bond between people and like... I love it. Like I don't know if you saw my course. We teach door knocking at our office.
Yeah, I saw that
all the time. And like everyone's like, "You're the master of door knocking." I'm like, "I'm the queen of door knocking. I fucking run it." And the thing is, I'm like, you know what? None of these people are my competition yet. Like I've mastered it, and I am so happy to help these people. I don't care if I get paid off of it. Seeing these people succeed is like the best part of teaching. Like that's why I do it. I mean, and half the time they don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? You can teach to 100 people. One person's going to do it.
Exactly.
That person I want on my team. Come the fuck on my team. Join me. Let's make a fucking legacy. Let's do it. That one person I taught, now my sister, she's a fucking boss at door knocking. She won't cold call, but she'll door knock the hell out of everything. And we like run New West. Well, Connaught Heights. You run New West. I run Connaught Heights. But like I taught her to door knock and boom. She's like, I make her teach the course. Well, I don't make her, she offers. She teaches the courses and I'm just like, this is my shit. This was my, like 3 years ago, this is where I was like dreaming, like people like following me for door knocking. Like, and it started as a 13-year-old kid.
Part of the reason I started the podcast is because we were growing our team. So we had a couple.
Are you recruiting me? Just kidding. Kidding.
Are you available?
Yeah. Only on Tuesdays. It's my day off.
Can you teach our team how to door knock?
No.
Because they're not.
Because I know your team will do it. Okay, yeah, I can. Yeah, we could go out together.
Part of the reason I started the podcast, though, is because we were growing our team. We had 3 or 4 more agents on our team. And I fell in love with this leadership role. I had no idea how much information I knew about real estate. No idea. I was 3.5 years in. In my mind, I'm the new kid still. But guys on our team are like, how the fuck do you know that information? And asking me questions about like a specific negotiation and be like, yeah, I've done that 37 times. This is exactly what you need to say. And it works, right? And then new agents started reaching out to me through Instagram, through, whatever, new agents to our office, asking me to go for coffee. And this would happen like a few times a month. And I love being able to share my experience with people. So automatically in my head, I'm like, how do I scale this information rather than one-on-one coffee meetings? And the podcast format just works, right?
It does, yeah.
But at the same time, I learn best by chatting and understanding other people's experiences. So it's helpful to me, but I think long-term it's going to be really helpful to a lot of new people into real estate or any entrepreneurship role, really.
Yeah, no,
but that's kind of what motivated me to get it going quickly.
Yeah, it was fast.
How quick did it go, Carl? I was like,
So fast, yeah.
it's like, Carl, I think I want to do a podcast. Are you ready tomorrow morning to film the first one?
I'll be there.
Whenever you post it online, you're like, big things coming. And it was like a podcast. And then I'm like, oh, it's a podcast. Here it is, like 4 days later.
Turned around pretty quick. Carl and I were trying to figure out an intro song. And it took us like 3 days. And we're like, what the fuck? Why are we waiting so long? We need to get this moving. Let's just pick something.
Just go. Get it done.
Oh, man. Fuck. I want to chat with you about social media. Because what I really, really like about yours is that you are completely yourself. And
that's what I don't like almost.
No, that's what I love though.
I love it.
Like that's part of the reason I respect you so much is because you're like you are who you are, and you're all in on that.
I hold back a tiny bit because like I had to leave home. I just shut off my Instagram.
Why?
Because like where my business started heading was I needed to be more professional. A little bit. Like I was door knocking in like my little fucking flannel and a white t-shirt and really tight pants to show off my junk. But like I was heading to the level where I wanted to be. I don't want to be a residential realtor. I do, but I want to get into developments.
Yeah.
And I need to sell myself at a little bit of a higher level. Like I know what I'm doing because I'm young, I'm gay. I mean, obviously I don't look gay, but like I knew I needed to elevate my game. So my social media, my Facebook's pretty much like I can control it, but my Instagram, it's the new wave of what's happening. So I cleaned it up a bit, make it a little bit more professional because that's where I want to be, right? I want to be at the point where I'm selling, like Ryan Serhan or, any $1 million listing where I'm doing these big project marketing deals, which are on the go. And I've got some pretty cool shit that's happening in the next 3 years with project marketing for some high rises.
I can't wait to see it, man.
I'm like, ugh. So I knew I had to clean it up a bit, but I am myself 100%, just a little bit more the safe for work version of myself.
Fair enough.
There's other outlets for that other shit.
What I love so much about social media and the way that I'm trying to go is just be exactly who I am. And if people don't like it, I really don't care.
I love your social media.
Doesn't bug me at all.
Yeah.
And so like I was going to say, that was one of the things I really respect about you is that I see you the exact same way in terms of like, I'm Walker Adair. This is who I am. I'm going to fucking own it and I'm going to dominate regardless. People aren't going to like you, but no matter what you are or who you are, people aren't going to like you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always going to be people that don't like.
I love it.
They don't like the tie. Like if you wear a tie every fucking day to work.
What's a tie?
Exactly.
The haters fuel me. I love it.
I love it.
I get them and fucking all the time. And I'm like, hi, what's up? I even have someone in the Lower Mainland copying my branding.
Really?
I loved it.
Isn't that the best?
No, it was horrible because it's so fucking similar and I don't like them. But like, literally took my logo and just like, instead, like, I don't know if you've seen it, like, I don't have my business card on
I know exactly what it looks like.
He fucking...
It's blue and orange.
Yeah, he took it and like changed the colors and like made it like a little bit different. And then I'm Walker Adair and Associates and it's blah, blah, blah and Associates. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm flattered, but fucking pissed because he's in my farm. Get out of my farm. You can't copy me in my own farm. So then I changed my farm. Just like, fuck you. I'll find a new farm and I'll still dominate this one. I'll just get a second one. I'll dominate that one. And that's where Connaught Heights came from. I got mad at this motherfucker and I went to Connaught Heights and I was like, this is my new one because he's not here. And then I saw a sign and I'm like, is this motherfucker following me? And I'm like, I don't want to go too far, but like, damn. I'm like, damn, don't like, I don't know if he ripped me off completely, but like, I can show you after and you tell me.
Man, honestly, that kind of shit doesn't affect me at all.
It fuels me. It's not a negative effect. It like pushes me. That people are watching me. Right? It's cool. Like there's these, like this guy's not new. He's been in the industry a long time. I'm like, he's watching me. Right? Like I saw this. Actually, another realtor sent it to me and I'm like, this dude's watching me. Like I'm 3 years in the business. I'm new. I'm in my 20s. I like it. It's that fuel to make me push. Like I got to do better than him. I got this competitive like thing for me. When I see a young agent get in, I'm like, oh fucking deal. How many deals did you do? Right? I always gotta like elevate myself, do better. Like I think you touched on it a little bit. Like you're younger than me. I don't like it, but I respect it.
I respect it, but I still want to crush you.
Yeah, I know, and you do. So you got that, but I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
It's an exponential scale, though.
It is.
If I'm a step ahead of you right now, in 10 years, I'm going to be 30,000 steps ahead of you.
But the best part is that I'll be 30,000 steps ahead too. So I don't care. Let's do it. Let's go together.
So that's the point I'm trying to get across, is that I literally give zero shits about what other people are doing. I don't care that other realtors are selling more houses than me. I don't care that you're younger than me, although I'll say it to you. I want to focus on what I'm doing because I know I'm doing it correctly. And I know that if I keep working my ass off, the sky's the limit. And that's what excites me. I don't give a shit if someone else, like we sold 162 properties last year. Someone sells 165. Congratulations, man. Because next year we're going to sell 200. And the year after that, we're going to sell 250. So if you don't keep up with us, you're going to be left in the dust. But if you do, good for you.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Because I know how much hard work it is to get there. So I respect the hell out of you if you continue on that crazy path.
I love that.
Anyway, I don't give a fuck what other people are doing.
No, I do a little bit, but not really. Just get out of my farm. Don't fucking compete with me.
Walker's the guy pulling fucking sold or for sale signs out of the ground and just tossing them.
No. Actually, I didn't get to touch on this about Poco's sign bylaws.
Yeah.
How my first year, because that funny thing about pulling signs out of the ground. So what I did is I invested all my money into fucking signs. Like I got one listing and I'm like, okay, I told my partner, I'm like, dude, we need to fucking get 100 signs, like for sale signs, like directional arrow. And he's like, why? And I'm like, there's no bylaw here. We can put as many as we want. So I put one in every fucking corner and then door knocked. Yeah, seriously. I was out at like 4 a.m, like one night, and I'm like, bang, 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 all over the place. Strapped the fuckers to like poles, stabbed holes through them so no one could get them. And then I door knocked. They're like, wow, I never seen you. You're so big in this industry. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'm huge. Look at all my signs. Just signs. One listing, that was it.
That's hilarious.
That was my thing. That's why I picked Poco. It was because of that big sign bylaw.
Because no sign bylaws.
No sign bylaws. And it had no dominant agent. It was like a mismatch of like 30 different agents.
In the last, I'd say year, we've noticed a lot of our arrows go missing.
Motherfucker, steal the shit.
Well, now I'm slightly suspicious that it's you.
No, I don't steal arrows. No, dude, I don't care. If there's an arrow, I'll put 2 up. Like, but I the same. Like, I go to Poco before when I was a nobody. No, never. Now I do it. I'll just put a sign up. I'll zap strap it, and then I'll just watch it, and it's gone in 2 days. And I'm like, why is that guy's arrow beside it not gone? And mine's here. And I'll take a photo. I'm like, But you know what? I'm like, whatever. So I don't need to sign as much because I've got my name. Like I can go anywhere almost in my main farms, and people know who I am.
Honestly, Carl, this happens all the time.
That's crazy.
Like our signs just get plucked.
I even have my big $100 ones go, and I'm like, fuck off. Like if someone takes my A-frame, that's when game's over. Those things are expensive. But like the little $9 signs though, like when I noticed, like when I was getting bigger, they started going missing, and I was replacing them every night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. Like this is too much work to worry about these signs going missing. So I stopped, and I'm like, but it worked, and no one does it.
No.
There's one other agent, Jason in Poco, who ended up calling me, and he's like, dude, who are you? And he did it too. He put signs up. So we were teaming up for a bit, and like just putting up signs, and just even if we didn't have any listings, because who knew? Right? I put up signs for his listings, and we were getting calls, and then we got a call from this lady who was like, I found like 30 of your signs in a dumpster, blah, blah, blah. You know, I want to sell my condo. And, you know, I thought I'd call you because I found all your signs in the dumpster. And I thought that was just bullshit. And I'm like,
you got a listing out of your signs being in the dumpster?
Well, we didn't end up listing it. She ended up living there and staying. But she called me or my partner, well, Jason, my friend. And she's like, yeah, you know, we literally just found these signs in the dumpster. Do you want to come and grab them? And she ended up staying there, not selling, but she's going to probably sell soon.
That's hilarious.
It's weird. But I don't do it as much because my signs just are gone in a day, and it's just throwing money down the drain, like mailing out flyers.
Don't get me started on print advertising.
Do you do it?
Unfortunately, we feel like we have to.
You know what? Yeah, I agree.
Just to kind of put your name in the mix, because obviously New Est is like the big market for us. Yep. And Jamie's been flyering New Est for 10 years.
Yeah, you can't just stop.
Exactly. So we've cut it back a little bit this year just because the return is so poor.
I never got
It's so bad. We do get leads from it, but it's like, let's say we spend $5,000 on a flyer, we get one condo listing lead. So
and it's
like
$5,000.
It's like 10 grand. So it's like maybe in a good scenario, it's 2 to 1.
Top of mind.
Exactly. So it's just getting your name out there continuously.
And you need that in a dominant farm. Like I didn't really have a dominant farm. I was like hopping all over the place. So I did a bit of flyers. It just never got nothing. And I'm like, I'm done with this. I get impatient really fast. If something doesn't work after like a week, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
Like that's just my mentality of like, if like I'm doing something and it doesn't work, like what's that quote from? If you keep doing something over and over again, expecting a different result,
the definition of insanity.
As shit. No, you're just stupid as shit.
That's the definition of insanity, is doing something over and over and expecting a different result.
Yeah, so I get bored. If I do something more than once, well, like that's why door knocking worked, because I'm like, I'm doing it, it's working, I keep doing it. And then I cold call for like 2 days, and I'm like, I got nothing except a couple dead phone. I tried to charge my phone all day, and I didn't get to walk around or go outside. I'm like this. I'm done.
Okay, I got 2 more things I want to talk about. We got 15 minutes.
All right, go fast.
New agents in the industry. I've met with a few new mortgage brokers too. So new people at self-employment always ask about daily routines. Do you have one?
I wish. I had one when I was doing the business. Like I said, my business stepped down. I went from 46. You know, it was I wanted it. I didn't want to. I learned money wasn't a thing, and I had a daily routine, and then it was like wake up at 4:30. You know,
4:30 started your day?
Yeah,
that's impressive.
3 hours of sleep every night. 4 hours of sleep max.
No shit, you're burnt out. Jesus.
Yeah. So that was my daily routine. I wake up at 4:30, get out of bed before my partner. I had a boyfriend, and the bad breakup, 4 years. Get out of bed before, or get to work before he got up, because it was abusive, not a good relationship. And now, I mean, my daily routine is I wake up when I want to wake up, and I go into the office. I have my assistant. I try to be there by 9. Some days 9:30. I do what I want. And I mean, I really do want to get a routine down. I want to be up. I love waking up at 5. Like I accidentally woke up at 5:30 today. I posted on Facebook. I'm like, why am I up? What the hell? But like it energizes my day. I get to like just sit in peace. I don't own a television. I don't do anything. Don't game. My condo is minimalist. Nothing. It's messy, but I don't have a lot of stuff. And it's just
music. Like, what do you do when you're at home by yourself?
I sometimes go on my computer, whenever porn. I mean, just this random shit. I don't like to I don't know. I just like the peace. Like I sat in my car for 40 minutes before this, just silence. And my partner calls me, and I'm like, I don't want to talk. I want silence. Like talking, like this burns me out. My whole day, like I end of the day, and I'm exhausted with people. Like I've got this thing, and that's it. Just I think you're different. I don't think you get burnt out by people.
I was just gonna say that's an interesting perspective, because it doesn't make sense to me.
I know,
because the social aspect of my career fires me up, and even when I get home and I live by myself. But I get home, let's say like 8 o'clock every day, and I'm texting people, being like, "Do you want to go for a beer? Do you want to go for dinner?" Because I need that is what fires me up. I love the conversation. I love hearing people's experiences. I can be by myself. Like I've done it for a long time, but like I would rather be communicating
I'm the same way, but there's a different, like, I don't know. I need my time. My time is my driving. That is the main reason why I take listings in Chilliwack and Hope, because I don't take calls when I'm driving. If my client calls me when I'm driving, they can wait.
Really?
I won't take a call when I'm driving.
That's when I catch up on my calls.
I listen to music. It's my me time. I fucking sing in the car. Like, that's me. Like, that's my me time. It's when I sit down at Starbucks, put the headphones in and work. My driving is me. And like sitting in my car every time, like when I go home, I park it in my garage. I sit till my car shuts off. I hit the stop button. It's 15 minutes. I listen to music, just dick around on my phone, do whatever. That's my me time to unwind. And then I go up and it's either, I do like people. Like, I like my friends. I need to hang out with them. I need to be social, but it burns me out to big time. Big time burns me out. And there's days where I'm like I had to recharge to come into here because of all the door knocking I did today and all the talking and right. And if I didn't, I would be burning out like
crazy.
Hope
I don't burn you out, man.
No, it's good. I'm good. I was burnt out in the beginning. I was a little quieter. Once I get fired up, I'll be good till like 11:30 and I'll be like buzzing.
Okay, one thing I always ask people is I describe myself as having a very obsessive personality. So like I find something that I like and I'm all in on that for a period of time, whether it's like an artist and I'm just listening to their album on repeat for like a month, or like it's a sport, or like whatever it is. Real estate is a long-term obsession, but like I'm obsessed with it. Do you have something like that right now?
Does it jump around a lot? Mine jumps around.
You're talking all the time. Every month is different.
Even
you're talking about music too.
Yeah, so, well, I used to be a musician. I was in bands.
I didn't know that.
I'm a drummer.
Cool. I didn't know
metal. Like I don't know. I get obsessed with shit, and like right now I'm obsessed with like new rapper like Takeoff, and like all I do is listen to the same album, and then like I go on my Apple Music, and then I'll find something new, and I'll just forget about it and go on to the next, and like I don't get it.
What artist are you into right now?
I mean, Logic is one of my favorites. I rap as well on the side. I'm not gonna rap on podcasts, but like
I was debating whether or not to ask you to, but I don't think we will.
No, I need to be drunk. But like Logic, Takeoff, Nicki Minaj. I mean, obviously, always Cardi B. Like I like trashy shit. Like I like I don't know. I just love like upbeat, like fast. Like I don't know.
Is that your shit, Carl?
Yeah, Takeoff is legit.
He's like new. He literally took off. He's taking fucking off.
I have no idea who that is.
Migos, right?
He's Migos. I didn't even know who the fuck he was until 4 days ago. Now I'm fucking obsessed.
I listen to country music, so if you want to talk about country, I'm in.
Country music sometimes happens when it's on Apple Music and just starts playing. And I'm like, no. I listen to everything from metal to pop to country to fucking rock and roll to 50s, like swing, everything.
Outside of real estate, what else fires you up?
I don't know. Dude, I live, breathe, and sleep real estate. I love what I fucking do.
Isn't that like, so exciting to
I go
find
home,
that?
like I said, 2 a.m, I'm fucking looking at house porn. Like that's what we call it. That's my porn, house porn. Like the house is sexy as shit. I want it. And my friend is like, dude, I don't want to do this. Like even my partner is like, can we not look at real estate at 1 a.m? Can we like do something? And I'm like, oh man, I love what I do. I love this house. And he's like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, I am. Fucking right, I am. And that's why I meet.
This new girl that I'm seeing, she said to me the other day, she's like, it's inspiring to watch you and how passionate you are about what you're doing. And I was like, I don't see the other option. Like, I'm so excited that I found something that I really love. Why wouldn't I be all in?
I love that she said that because my partner, he's new. Like, I think I was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Said the exact fucking same thing last weekend. He's like, I just sit here. He's like, and I'm in awe and inspired by how much you love it.
It's cool, right?
It's the exact same thing. And I'm like, this is nothing different. This is my normal life. And he's like, it's just mesmerizing just watching you do this. And I'm like fucking weird. Like this is not like I see it as normal. Like you see it as normal. It's just what we do.
But it's cool to get an outsider's perspective on something like that.
Yeah, no, it's weird. That's why you messaged me 3 weeks ago. I'm not going to say anything on podcast because she might be watching. But and then we both did the same thing. Like, God
you can
damn
say
it.
I don't give a shit. Go ahead.
We're like, I'm like, fuck.
So
I don't remember
give me a little background though. We were sitting in one of my listings, and your client was like 15 minutes late or something. So we were just chatting,
just bullshitting. It's the first time I met you too.
Yeah.
in person, but I felt like I knew the
In
shit.
person. Well, I feel like I know you because I have you on social though.
And like, yeah, we're just chatting, just bullshitting about like life and like how shitty it is to have someone hold you back.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you know what? Fuck it. Don't date no one. Like, I don't want to date no one. I don't need someone holding me back. And I'm like, fuck yeah, me too. I like getting heated up eating those little biscuits.
Yes. That was the biscotti house. Yes.
And then you're like, yeah. And then like, we didn't really talk about it, but I was going to message you about it literally a week ago and be like, I fucked up. I started like kind of seeing someone. And then I didn't I was thinking about it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to say anything. And then I said it and you're like, yeah, me too. So you know what? But life just kind of goes how it goes. As long I look at it as like, I've been in enough shitty relationships. You've had your similar situations where like, I know what to look for. And if someone is going to hold me back, I ain't letting it happen.
100%.
Like if I told him, I said, business over love right now means more to me. You either support me or you hold me back. There's no in between anymore. So what do you want to be? And he's like, I'm going to, like I said, quit my job. You know, I'm like, no, you support me. Being here 1 or 2 weeks is better for me right now than holding me back and not, I don't care how wealthy you are or whatever you want to do. I want to do what I want to do and don't hold me back. Don't get it in my way. I'll fucking stomp you down.
I love that. Basically that may be my last thing, but like I always sorry, I gotta run. It's 7:00 on a Thursday. I gotta run to a showing.
Life of a realtor.
Never
That's why
ends,
we can't
man.
have a boyfriend or girlfriend.
Never ends. I always ask my guests to make the final statement of the podcast. So what I like them to be is a piece of advice to like new entrepreneurs or new people in our industry, or the best advice that you've ever got, or something along those lines.
I mean, the best advice is the advice I give myself, and it's not fucking easy, but it's not meant to be easy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some weird inspirational quote.
I like where this is going.
You just gotta, I want to say don't believe in yourself, because you always doubt yourself in the beginning. Don't believe in yourself. Just fucking ignore your true thoughts and just go. What do you want? Get a one like end in mind and just go for it. There's shortcuts. You can take them. Everyone told me don't take shortcuts. I took the shortcuts. I find shortcuts everywhere in my business to get where I want. It's not sustainable, but you got to get somewhere to be able to get to the final destination and to where you want to be. If you get nowhere, you ain't going to get anywhere. A shortcut's not an issue. Just do it. Fucking Nike. There we go. Well, like I
have so many things to say to that. The shortcut, I mean, the term shortcut is negative. It means like you're,
not though.
But the perception of it is negative. So I look at my situation in that if I went off on my own, would I be in the same situation I am today? Likely not. I had a phenomenal opportunity to work with Jamie. But I went all in on that, right?
Yeah.
I had people tell me that real estate was a bad move for me. Wasn't going to be a fit for my personality, but I found this ridiculous opportunity and went all in, and it's worked out really well. So in terms of a shortcut, it's not really a shortcut. It's more just finding an opportunity and going all in on that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because nothing you have done, and the number of houses that you've door knocked is proof of this. Nothing that you've done has been a shortcut.
Fuck yeah, true.
Don't sell yourself short, man. It's honestly it's super impressive. I love the word shortcut.
I love the word shortcut because you're getting. I mean, but it can be a negative thing because I mean it doesn't unless you like you learn.
People
a lot
see it as
from
skipping steps, right?
But I mean, you can skip steps. Like when you walk upstairs, do you take every step at a time? No. Fuck that. I mean, I'm a driven person. I want it, and I want it now. Like, I wouldn't be where I am at 24 years old. I mean, I'm not that far. I got so long to go.
You're fucking 24.
I wouldn't be where I am. Almost 25.
How old are we, Carl?
Too old.
Fuck.
I look older. It's because the beard and the real estate aging me and my clients stressing the fuck out of me. Not buying eight. But, like, I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't have taken some, skipped a couple steps. Right? Like, I skipped the step of, like, not knowing what to do. Like, I learned all that. I guess
taking a risk, though. That's not a shortcut. A shortcut is easy.
Calculated risk.
Taking on risk is difficult.
But I find this has been easy. Like, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. This isn't really, it's been a challenge.
Fucking love that line.
this has been easy. Like, this is easy for me. I'm in a comfort zone. My comfort zone went from me making $30K a year. I make $200, $250 a year. That's nothing to me. This is easy. I can do this in my fucking sleep, right? Like, and I need that like push to go and like jump a bit more, get out of my comfort zone, and boom, I'll be at 450. Like I said, first year was the best. 46 transaction wise, 46 deals. Second year, 28 deals. I made only 40K less, but I worked half as much.
Yeah.
Third year, I went to fucking Thailand for 2.5 months. Then I came back,
like
worked
travel.
a week, went to fucking LA for 2 months, came back, and I'm still going to GCI like 180K. I was only here for half the year. I'm like, and I was happy, and that's all that mattered. I loved what I did. It was now a passion again. It wasn't a job. It wasn't like I have to show up. I wanted to show up. I loved it. And I'm back to that stage. And I know this winter I'm going to fucking kill it because I'm not going to Thailand for 2.5 months. I'm not going to LA for 2 months. I'm going to go to Montreal for 5 days. Not jump in with both feet to every single thing I do.
What you just said is something that I say on almost every podcast, and Carl knows, is that I'm somewhere, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
And it fires me the fuck up.
It's so
just saying
motivating.
it.
I know.
Like,
So I'm so pumped that you said that.
like I want to go and door knock, but it's what? I guess the door is 7 o'clock at night.
Speaking of, I got to go show a property.
All right,
Walker,
don't
thanks.
sell it.
Huh?
Don't sell it. That's the one I want to sell.
I'm going to work on selling it. Thanks so much for coming on tonight, man. That was so much fun.
I loved
I
it.
feel like we need round 2. Just
I
because
do,
there's
I
so
do,
much
I think so.
there's so much shit that we can
I
talk
know
about.
I could go till 9:30, but we can't.
Carl, I love you. Guys, thank you so much for listening. As always, hit me up on Instagram if you have some feedback. I would love to hear it, positive, negative. Hit up Walker Adair as well. His contact info will be in the podcast notes. Later.
Peace.